Hello, hello, hello. I have another review and feedback for you. This time we have a PVZ. And we're going to be looking at some interesting gameplay here. I haven't watched it all, so let's jump right on into it and see what we got. In the lower left-hand corner, we have, oopsie daisy, Protoss in red as Beaststrike. And in the upper right-hand corner, we have as Zerg, EquiNoX in blue. The Zerg versus Protoss matchup is an interesting one, as everybody knows. There's a Max Pex and, of course, Cyril that play against each other, and that's happening somewhat regularly. If you're looking to see what the meta is, that's where you kind of keep an eye at. Generally speaking, Zerg has been a very defensive race, and Protoss has been the more aggressive one. You're going to have usually oracles come in, one, maybe two, and they're going to try and snipe some drones, and there's going to be some kind of nice little defensive maneuvering with the queen and some spores, and you're going to have that kind of experience. That was the old meta. The new meta is more of a gateway-based push. There's going to be lots of stalkers, lots of charge lots, blinks, is going to be available. You're going to also have a mix-in of the Robo. And of course, this is the variation comes at right around the second military building, third military building. So sometimes 2 gates, sometimes it's 1. As the Protoss, what you're doing with this scout is checking for the pool timing. Based off of how big it is, tells you how long ago it was built. Tells you if they're going to be hitting you with a 12 pool, which means that the Zerglings will come out as your probe arrives, or a 14 pool, which means they will the Zerglings will pop shortly after you arrive, or a 16 pool with speed, which is what you're seeing here. Basically, your probe shows up. It's very early in production, all that kind of stuff. I think this actually was started after the hatchery was put down, so you'd see the hatchery first. The size of the hatchery also indicates when the when the pool was being constructed, all that good stuff. On the other side of the map, we have the Overlord getting a nice peek at what's going on. Double gate is pretty normal. We want to probe to make sure that there's no hole, no gap. Speed isn't done. You don't need to have the probe there yet. I understand the hesitation and the fear that has come from 12 pulls, 14 pulls, and all that good stuff just coming in and crashing in on you. But that being said, this isn't necessary. You're going to get that Zealot out. If you went Zealot before those Zerglings get across the map, especially on a bigger map like this one, I would probably have gone Adept, personally. That way you can have the Adept in the wall, and then you can plug the hole. Also this... golly, this is not a great wall. But you could plug the hole with a building and then have the Adept teleport back afterwards. What is that? That looks like a mana symbol. Like Final Fantasy mana? Like or whatever. Regardless, not bad. It's fine. It's defensive. The Zealot's a little early. It doesn't cost gas. This is, if you're not doing the gas, you're probably going to go Stargate. It usually indicates that you're doing that. Because you need that extra 25 to get it up earlier, and you wouldn't have 2 sentries, you'd have 1. Oh my goodness. Also, energy recharge, use that. Get a Hallucinated Phoenix literally as early as possible. That way you can see if they're going roaches, teching up to lair, etc. Protoss, as of today, the reason it's so powerful is because you can literally see everything your opponent's doing, period. With Hallucinated Phoenix, the only cost that you have to worry about is quite literally the energy. And you have the ability to use energy recharge so that your sentry has that. Chronoing is better because only if you are comfortable with your macro and your opponent's macro. Reason being is because you can get more probes out and you can get to a third base very, very aggressively. But I'm not quite sure where all of that chrono's going. I haven't been paying super close attention. I do know that the Twilight Council is coming out real fast. Okay, that is a dead Overlord. Well, that's why you sack it, right? You wanted to know that your opponent's doing XYZ, and you found out that they are Cronin Twilight Council versus going Sky. So, no spores, you completely skip them, you don't have to worry about them for a while. You eventually add them in for DTs, especially if you're ahead. Oh, wait, or the Zerg. Zerg is doing great. I don't really have to talk about anything here. The only thing I'd be worried about is the army count is a little light. I would want more than 3 Zerglings, especially since you got speed. Probably want about 10, maybe 20. And then I would want about 5 Roaches is actually a good number if you have that 10 Lings. And continuing to produce it, you're getting a really good income. You're continuing to macro up. You're defensive, protective. You're spreading your creep. A lot of people, as Zerg, don't spread their creep against Protoss simply because it's not quite as important. Also, why would we do 2 double hallucination? Silly. We want to be able to have vision of where my opponent's coming, so I can position my queens to knock out one of these hallucinations, etc. I think you're a little gas heavy, actually. I don't know. You need to be getting your tech your upgrade, spending that gas. That's the only thing that I've seen that I'm like, this needs to need that adjustment. Really annoying. Not actually killing anything. There's no damage. You can tell by looking at it. All that good stuff. I do love the Overlord placement. Problem is if they build a bunch of Stalkers, that one's dead. This should probably be an Overseer, and you can then run on through. Your scouting information is pretty decent. I don't really hate what your knowledge is right now. Like, you know that they have Twilight, you know that they have that, you know they have a third, you know they're very defensive, and they have a Robo. They built the Robo because your Roaches, you need to attack before that becomes a problem. So, just something to be aware of. Like, you know they built the Immortals. They're going to build Immortals as soon as they can. So you need to build... You either need to, like, attack now with... Just, like, switch completely new units and head on in with this army. Or your army loses value very, 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 very fast. The second they have 3 Immortals... You could have 20 Roaches, and they're probably just going to be able to do whatever they want. And that's a problem, right? The immortal count is gonna really mess you up. So like you have the army, you know what your opponent's doing, you have a good idea of it. I would stop building drones and build army and attack. I would have attacked earlier. I would have gone in way sooner, but to each their own. You also haven't done any pressure. You've just done scouting, so they can do whatever they want. They're on fully saturated 3 base. If you're both kind of macro, get your 5th base. Just be able to outproduce them. This is starting to get a little late. Why are we getting melee? Why wouldn't we get ranged 2? Why did we not get armor 1? Just really weird choices. Killing those high energy Archon or Templar was really important. I do like the 1 damage on that one. Kill the pylon. Yeah. Vials on the cannon. I would get to the Immortals. Yeah, you're okay. So let's go back a little bit and let's break this down a little bit. I'm gonna slow it down too. Okay. So we're looking at an attack at about 7.5 minutes, without a max out, without armor, right? If you started +1 missiles at the same time you did +1 armor, this army is much better. You didn't include any Lings in your army. It was, what, 3 Lings total? You're gas heavy. So you don't need, with Roaches and Ravengers, you don't need that much gas. You need more Ravengers if you're going to do this attack at this point. Because you know they have Immortals, you saw them building them, all that kind of stuff. So let's go ahead and slow it down. We're on normal speed, so I know this is slower than what you'd normally play. I like waiting and grouping up. This is a good call. Not sending the reinforcements is okay. Sending the reinforcements is okay, depending on what your thoughts are. This is a perfectly fine engage. Pull back. Don't sit in a storm. Don't run through the storm. If you can help it. I do like the sniping of the Templar. That's a good call. Now, at this point, you having this Roach hit this Immortal. This one's already gotten its shield shot. Hitting this, you need to kill this immediately, then kill this one, and then kill this one. You're going to lose most of this army. Your reinforcements go after the workers, because this army will be busy or dead. Also, when you have all of these Roaches like this, if you can help it, click on the red life ones and hit your Morph Ravager button real fast. The reason being is they take a lot of damage and they don't change their target, and they have like a bazillion trillion armor. So if you click on this Roach that's right here, that is low health, that they're trying to kill, and you make it a Ravager, you're going to get more damage on that Roach to survive longer, so your other Roaches kill this stuff. You're going to lose a little bit of resources. It's okay. It's okay to lose a little bit of resources, but you would be in a position to do a lot more there. This army, attack that, which I know you did, and attack this because the barrier is popped. Attack this now. But pull back after you kill the Archon. Then you kite back and kill the Pylon. This army needs to either run or needs to fully commit. This army needs to be attacking something. If you are attacking the front with this at the same time, that becomes a lot scarier. Your Biles need to be on cooldown pretty much the whole time. I would suggest not hitting things that can move, hitting things that cannot move. This will never die. It has 2 shield bats. You're just going to lose these Roaches. This would have been a much better position to hit. I'm sure you F2'd. I do like the Ling production as well to mix in, but I would not go in yet. Nope. Those are on move command. I don't know why they're on move command. I would have them group about here, keep spreading your creep, get a big enough army that you know you can take him. More Lings, some Banes even, because you saw how many Zealots he has. You saw that he had charge. Banes would destroy the Zealots very fast. Then you can get on the Immortals really quick with the remaining Lings. The only problem is he has Storm. You know he has Storm. So, you would probably want to send your Lings over here and send your Roaches over here. Right? Reason being is you want to have 2 fronts. You want to make it so that you know what your opponent's doing. Oh my god, that's so many gates. So many gates. They have the ability to produce a lot. Max out and then go for your attack. I think you're going to do that. I'm not too worried about that. Changelings are smart. Interesting decision to use the Warp Prism versus the Pylons. Just okay. I don't know. This is... You need to tech up. Where's your Hydra? Where's your... Lurkers? Where's your... Any of your higher tech stuff? Those storms. Get out of the storms. Okay, that was good. That was good. I like that dodge. Alright, now you need to get completely away. You cannot fight this. You ran the wrong way. You needed to pull back again. This army you totally sacrificed just because you saw the storms and you decided to like move into it. Kill the Zealots. You know he has Archons. Like, you're in a lot of like... You're producing what you can. You're doing your best to defend. But he's just got higher tech at this point. He has 4 Immortals, 12 Stalkers, 2 Archons, and he's going to do a warp-in cycle of Zealots. You're going to be in a lot of trouble because you don't have Hydras, because you don't have just like a bigger army. The plus side, well, you knew he had Storm, but you don't know how much his Storm is. He's energy dependent. I don't know. You know that army was there. I don't know why your army is way over there. That's a weird positioning. I would send Changelings to see if his army stayed in the same place. Now you're going to just feed in partial forces because you just A-move. I don't hate the A-move, but like, it's not great. Biles, Biles. Ooh, that was really good connection on the Biles. This is an F2 kind of situation in my opinion. I don't F2 very often, if at all. This army is still really powerful, and you're down to Ravengers and Roaches. I don't love your position. Your just engages are kind of just weak at this point. It's pretty much over. I don't know. Maybe it's hard to say. You do have a tech lead on him, but like this base is sacked. You need to wait until you have 150 plus supply. It's got to be all army, no drone production at all. Wow, they didn't kill this base. What are they doing? If I was this person, I would have murdered the crap out of this base, and I would have tried to continue to expand and start to walk up here to see what you had with like a zealot or something. Use the observer to clear creep, make it so this is all gone. Like you know that he's up here. You knew he was up here. You're not pressuring at all. Ugh, sorry. I got ourselves a stalker. Got ourselves an immortal shield pop. 20 kills, 11 kills, 23 kills, 15 kills. Hydras fixed that problem. They also counter Archon. Yeah, they're weak against Storm, but you know what? Your army's weak against Storm anyway. So this is good. I like this run by. This is really, really smart. Split off some. No, I think this is the right play. I think what you did was right. I don't think there's any major mistakes here with regards to the counterplay. I would have stayed on this. Force him to pay attention to it. This isn't bad. This is really smart having a gap so the lanes attack it. Ugh. It's a good kill, good counterattack. Not gonna win you the game, but it'll keep you in it. You need to do the same thing on this base. I still think I would have probably gone off the cybernetics core when the shield was up. I know that you probably F2'd, and that's all it is. Now he's adding in Colossus. You know he's adding in Colossus. So where's your counter? Where's your Corruptors? Where's your Vipers? Your army, you keep trading out, and he keeps retaining his. So you're like in a crazy amount of trouble. Because your tech is still tier 2 and he's clearly on tier 3. And he's been on tier 3 for a while. This is scary. I can see why you did okay on macro. Macro also includes going up appropriately in your tech. So that's I don't know what that was. You're just in trouble. Archons are really tough to deal with. You need lurkers. If you don't have lurkers, this is game, right? Like, yeah, you did Bile here really well, but you needed Biles when you were fighting here early on. It wasn't an atrocious game. It wasn't atrocious. You did okay. There's a lot of really nifty things that you could have done. Your scouting was phenomenal. I loved your scouting. Oh my god, it was like fresh kit, chef kiss, not French kiss. What is going on with my brain right now? That being said, you needed to be more aggressive when you scouted what you scouted. You knew he was going Robo. You needed to get in there as soon as you saw that. You needed to get in there as soon as you saw the Templar archive. You needed to make sure that you could switch off of your tech path or go up your tech path. You kind of got stuck on Roach Ravenger Ling, and that you needed more Lings earlier, and you needed more army, like higher tech layer, and you didn't have either, and that's where you really fell. Infestor would have been good too. Not perfect, but it would have been good because you could have locked down the Zealots and kited them, killed them off before they did anything, and then it would have just been his ball versus your big concave, and you would have been okay. Okay is the key word. Also because you can like fungal the whole army. That's really hard. No more blink. Vipers would have been good too. Colossi, you knew it was coming. I called it before they were under construction. I called it before the Robo, the building was even under construction, because you can also abduct the Immortals, which the power of that army, and you needed to shut that down, right? If you shut down the Immortals that had 20 plus kills each much earlier, you would have won. Other bit, your run by was good, a little late. Right, we talked about doing the run by earlier. We want to scare him. We want to make sure that he's spending resources on defenses in places that you're not really going to hit really heavily. Later, your Ling pressure did a really good job of cleaning out his third, but at that point you were grasping at straws. Had you done that earlier, you'd have been much better off. I mean, Lings, if you get speed Lings, you need something like 50 to 100 Lings in that game. And those 50 to 100 Lings, the reason you want that many is because you're going to be doing run-bys. You set them up, there's an engage, you send them off. Because you want your opponent's attention just pulled apart. 20 Lings at a time. Just aim, whenever you see their army and you're fighting them, hit that other hotkey, attack into their wall or whatever. It doesn't matter what happens with those Lings. You just want them busy and distracted and having to deal with them. Find new holes. Position them in different locations. Don't hit the same wall every time. Don't hit the same mineral line every time. That's, but, you know, have them. Be able to have that kind of aggression available to you. That being said, you did really well. There's a lot of really cool things. I think that your opponent didn't pressure you enough when they were winning by a long shot. Like, they destroyed your entire army. They didn't kill your fourth. They didn't pressure up the hill to see what you had, because they had the ability to run away. And they just didn't do it. They didn't clear your creep, so you had creep connections all the way to your fourth. You should expand your creep so that you know that army's coming, so that way you can get a surround on it faster, etc. Right? You don't want them to run away. Also, killing the War Prism. Oh my god, Biles against War Prism, that is like, that's what they're there for. Like, that's the primary point of their design. Not killing the army. Because the army will move, if you get up against like really good players, and you're starting to, Diamond is when you start to get against really good players. They're the top 25% of players. That's what Diamond is. Top 25% is Diamond, right? They will dodge your Biles. They will split their army every single time. They will also try and get their War Prism out. If you could bile down the War Prism, because it kills their pressure. Most Protosses, when they lose their War Prism, run home. So either you hit them with Lings, so they have to run home, or you kill the War Prism, or both. Or you make it so that they have to split their attention, and you can kill the War Prism. Attention/time is the most valuable resource in StarCraft. Period. Next is supply. Next is gas. Next, it's production. I would argue production might be more important than gas, but it's debatable, right? If you can keep your units alive and you have enough production to spend all your gas, you might be okay. But like, time and attention is like the most valuable resource in StarCraft. Being able to split or force your opponent to split their attention or do different things or multiple things, that's how you win games. Other than having just superior macro, which your macro is okay. You just didn't attack when you had the superiority in supply, value, etc. You kind of let the game fall on its face. After you had such good scouting. You knew they had no army and you didn't attack them. Like, imagine if you had 20 Lings instead of 10 Roaches. Or 30 Lings instead of 10 Roaches, right? You would have been able to get in their face and mess up their production, possibly destroy that Robo, and then follow up with the Roaches. You missed the stage of Ling pressure. And that's what killed you, I think. That being said, thank you for watching. I hope you watched the whole thing. Thank you for those of you, you that are trying to learn and gain understanding, and just watch what happens. And, of course, GG's, and I hope to see another game from you sometime in the future with lots of improvements, crushing some Protoss face with what we've learned today. Hope you have a good rest of the day. And again, thank you for watching.